You did not stumble here by accident. The very fact that these words are entering your awareness right now is not coincidence, not a random drift through digital noise. It is evidence. It is the kind of evidence that does not show up in spreadsheets or statistics but reveals itself in the felt electricity moving through your chest, the sudden quiet in your mind, the uncanny sense that this message is speaking directly to you. Pause with that. Let it land. What if this moment is less about searching and more about being found? When you think about your life, you might remember countless moments that felt like detours, late-night scrolling, half-formed prayers, silent wishes whispered into the void. Those fragments did not vanish. They rearranged themselves into pathways, converging into this exact moment. You are here not to begin a process, but to recognize one that is already well underway. The universe, or the field, or your higher self, choose the name that feels truest, has already been moving pieces into place. Your presence is the receipt, not the request. Feel into that difference. Seeking carries the weight of desperation. It imagines the thing you want is far away, locked behind a wall, withheld until you work harder. Recognition is lighter. It carries no tension. It acknowledges what is already unfolding. You are not trying to bend reality toward you. Reality has already begun bending itself around your new frequency. This message is a mirror held up so you can finally see what your soul already knows. The jump is in motion. Breathe into your body right now. Notice your shoulders. Let them drop. Feel the heaviness in your chest begin to ease. That is the first confirmation. It is not the words that shift you, but the resonance they carry. The resonance that reminds your nervous system of a truth it had almost forgotten. You are already moving forward. The bridge is already built beneath your feet. You have only to walk it. Imagine yourself standing between two mirrors facing each other. One shows your old self repeating patterns, heavy doubts, the familiar background noise of lack. The other reflects the luminous version of you who has already crossed. You are not staring into them from a distance. You are standing directly in the beam of light bouncing between them. This flicker, you feel the tug, the dissonance, the uncanny sense of being between worlds, is proof that the reflection of your future is reaching back to meet you. That shimmer is not failure, it is physics. It is what happens when two frequencies overlap before they fully resolve into one. You have felt it, haven't you? That subtle shift in how time flows. Those moments when the ordinary seems to shimmer with hidden significance. A repeated number on a clock, a word in a stranger's sentence that echoes a thought you just had, a dream that feels more real than waking life. These are not random sparks, they are the first footprints of a reality that is already crystallizing, and your ability to notice them is the proof that you are vibrating close enough to catch their signal. Now ask yourself, what if this arrival was scheduled? What if your soul placed this checkpoint here, a marker along your energetic map, so that when the fatigue grew heavy, when doubt grew loud, you would be reminded? Think of it as a flare in the night sky, not guiding you to start but reminding you that the journey is already underway. The tension you feel, half in the new world, half in the old, is not a mistake. It is the vibration of transition, the sound of old scaffolding collapsing while the new architecture rises. So let the evidence stand. You are not here to convince the universe of anything. You are here because the universe is already convinced of you. The field has registered your frequency. It has received your note, and this message is the echo returning, confirming that the exchange has begun. Do not minimize this. Do not treat it like one more inspirational phrase to skim and forget. Treat it as your notice of receipt. The package is already in transit. You are not waiting to be chosen. You are the one who already chose, and reality is now catching up to your decision. Feel again into your body. Breathe deep, slow. Exhale fully. Let your system catch the truth beneath these words. This is not the start of a climb. This is the recognition of arrival. You have been led here to remember that the leap is already in motion, that your future self is not waiting at some far-off destination but pulling you gently, steadily, into alignment. The bridge is under your feet, the light is already breaking through, and you, yes, you are the living proof. Close your eyes for a moment and sense the hum beneath your skin. It's not imagination, not wishful thinking. It is the subtle current of your own energetic signature. Every human being carries one, a complex vibration generated by the combined rhythm of thoughts, emotions, breath, and intention. Most people drift unaware of it, leaking static into the field. But you, right now, are being asked to notice yours, because this is where the shift begins to explain itself. Think of your body as both a transmitter and a receiver. Each sustained thought, each repeated emotional tone, sends out a signal into the quantum field, not a metaphorical field, but the invisible matrix of probability that surrounds and permeates everything. Your frequency is not a poetic phrase. It's measurable in your heart's electromagnetic pulse, in the coherence or chaos of your nervous system. And when you stabilize that pulse, even for a few minutes, the entire field responds like water rippling to a stone. Picture a tuning fork struck in an empty room. The air trembles. Anything with a matching note begins to vibrate in sympathy. That's resonance. Now extend the metaphor further. Imagine you are striking a note not once but again and again, holding it until the walls themselves begin to sing with you. That is coherence. The universe does not respond to scattered, desperate thoughts. Those are like static, like tapping on a piano with random fingers. But when you sustain a pure note, your frequency carves a groove in the field, reorganizing probabilities around your signal. This is the anatomy of your shift. Repetition becomes resonance, resonance becomes reorganization, and reorganization becomes reality. The invisible world is already rearranging itself to match your vibration before you see a single external change. That is why you feel the strange pull, the between-world sensation. Your inner broadcast has already been received. The outer manifestation is still catching up. Let's ground this further. Think of your emotions as the paintbrush and your thoughts as the color palette. Every stroke you repeat leaves pigment on the canvas of the field. Over time, the picture becomes so vivid that reality has no choice but to mirror it back to you. Most people never hold the brush long enough. They switch colors every minute, fear one moment, hope the next, doubt right after. But you are learning to steady the hand, to hold the brush on one tone until the canvas is saturated. That is how the field knows you're serious. That is why the echoes are appearing. Pause now. Inhale slowly. Exhale fully. Notice how even this breath alters the vibration of your field. A single breath taken with full awareness shifts the signal. Multiply that by hundreds of moments across days and weeks, and you begin to understand why your life feels different. You have already been striking the fork, already painting the canvas. The signals reaching you, this message, those synchronicities, are the feedback loops proving that the field is adjusting. Now, here is where the science of it meets the poetry. The electromagnetic field of your heart is thousands of times stronger than the electrical field of your brain. When your mind and heart align, when the story you tell yourself matches the feeling you generate, the coherence is exponential. It's not that you suddenly attract something new. It's that the field has no choice but to tune into your dominant signal. You are not dragging reality toward you, you are reprogramming the code beneath it. And this is why your presence here matters. You may have thought you clicked play because of boredom, curiosity, or chance, but underneath, your frequency demanded this reflection. The anatomy of your shift is not linear, it is vibrational. It bypasses logic and moves directly into alignment. You are not studying theory, you are living feedback. So feel the truth of this. Every repetition of gratitude, every small choice to trust instead of panic, every moment you breathe peace into your nervous system is not wasted. It is coded into the field. It is accumulating, compounding, weaving itself into a reality that is now unavoidable. Your job is not to wonder if it's working. Your job is to sustain the note, to keep painting with coherence. Look again at your life. The evidence is already there. Subtle, perhaps. A conversation that lands differently. A coincidence that feels too sharp to ignore. An inner calm in situations that used to unravel you. These are the anatomical signs of the shift in motion. You are not waiting for proof. You are the proof. Your presence here confirms it. You are carrying a peculiar kind of tiredness. It is not ordinary fatigue. It is soul weariness, an exhaustion that sits under the ribs and comes from holding two realities at once. On the one hand, parts of you already live in a clearer field where ease, meaning, and alignment are ordinary. On the other, your daily circumstances still reflect an older programming. That tension feels like being split across a seam. It is painful, yes, but it is also the signature of transformation. This fracture is not proof that you fail. It is evidence that the old scaffolding is ending. Think of it like tectonic plates shifting beneath the surface. Before the new land rises, there will be rumble and shake. Your experience is the same. The inner landscape reforms before the exterior settles. Accepting that you are mid-shift reframes the fatigue from problem to process. Suddenly, the sensation of strain becomes a meaningful meter, indicating how much realignment is occurring. Now, notice how the mind reacts. It reaches for solutions, more techniques, more routines, another course. It wants predictable steps to follow, a checklist to complete. But this is where many get trapped. The outer tools are useful only when your interior state has already reorganized. Trying to manufacture results through frantic doing is like trying to speed up rainfall by fanning the clouds. You change motion but not the weather. The wiser response is quieter. Regulate the nervous system, care for the soil, and tend the field. Somatic cues are a golden diagnostic. Your body tells you which reality you are living in more often. When you respond to life from anxiety, your shoulders tighten, your breath quickens, your attention narrows. When you land in resonance, breath deepens, the chest softens, and your perspective widens. Practice noticing these markers as if they were traffic lights. Red means tighten, green means continue. The aim is not to eliminate red entirely, but to create longer green stretches. One practical pathway is micro-regulation. 3 slow breaths, a hand over the heart, a grounding connection to the floor beneath you. Each micro-practice is small, but their cumulative effect is enormous. They stabilize your field and literally change the electromagnetic choreography of your body. Over time, these small resets reduce the energetic cost of holding the bridge between worlds. The result? Less frantic energy spent on reaction, more consistent energy available for sustained tuning. Another shift involves language. How you speak to yourself shapes the inner weather. Replace frantic, future tense sentences, what must be done, how soon it must happen, with present tense declarations of being. Instead of, I need to manifest X, try, I am moving toward X. I feel it now. This subtle grammatical change nudges your nervous system into congruence with the reality you are enacting. Words are not magic spells. They are state shifters when used repeatedly with feeling. Boundaries are also essential. Your field is porous, and unguarded attention drains coherence. Protect your energy by limiting sources of doubt, news cycles that loop negativity, people who amplify scarcity, internal rituals that replay old failures. Curate your input as an artist curates pigments. Only keep what helps compose the image you intend to paint. Finally, remember that identity precedes outcomes. You are not growing toward a future self as a checklist item. You are becoming that self by choosing internal posture first. The posture of sovereign reception, calm, open, and expectant, becomes a template for action. When you act from that posture, your choices harmonize with the field instead of fighting it. Habits then become the scaffolding. Not the scaffolding, the goal. This season of dissonance will pass because it is not an error but a necessary bridge. Treat it with tenderness. See the fatigue as a kind of spiritual currency being spent to birth a new structure. Tend to your nervous system, speak to yourself with the language of arrival, and protect the quality of your attention. These are the practical muscles that turn a shifting anatomy into a permanent reality. Now breathe in, exhale slowly, feel the seams soften. You are not broken, you are in formation. The dissonance is the evidence of movement, and movement is what creates new terrain. Imagine for a moment that your entire being is a musical instrument. Every thought is a pluck of a string, every emotion a sustained note, every breath a vibration running through the hollow of your chest. Most people live unaware of the song they are playing. Their frequencies clash, anger against hope, longing against doubt, resulting in static. But when you sustain one clear note, when you let gratitude or trust or peace reverberate without interruption, something extraordinary happens. The field itself begins to harmonize with you. This is quantum entrainment in practice. Entrainment is the universal law of rhythm. Pendulums swinging side by side will eventually sync. Fireflies clustered in a forest will begin to flash together. Your heart, brain, and breath do the same when brought into coherence, and once they sync, the field cannot ignore it. The vibration is too steady, too coherent, too compelling. What was once probability becomes inevitability. Consider the heart. Science confirms its electromagnetic field is measurable several feet beyond your body, but more than its range is its coherence. A heart beating in stress sends jagged, chaotic waves. A heart beating in calm gratitude sends smooth, ordered waves. Which signal do you think reality finds easier to mirror? The field is not sentimental, it is mathematical. It responds to order, to clarity, to coherence. So how do you apply this? Begin with the smallest unit, breath. Place one hand over your chest. Inhale for a slow count of 5. Hold briefly, then exhale for a count of 5. After a few cycles, add the memory of a moment you felt genuine appreciation, maybe someone's smile, sunlight on your skin, a quiet morning. Don't force joy. Let the body recall it naturally. As you breathe and recall, your heart's rhythm shifts. Your brain waves follow. Your entire field begins to hum in coherence. This is entrainment at the cellular level. Now scale this upward. Each time you return to this practice, you strengthen the groove in the field. Think of it like carving a channel for water. At first, the stream is shallow and easily disrupted, but repetition deepens it until the flow becomes automatic. The more you practice coherence, the more reality entrains to you without conscious effort. What once felt like pushing becomes allowing. What once felt distant begins to show up unannounced. Do not confuse this with chasing outcomes. You are not summoning wealth, love, or health like a magician pulling objects out of a hat. You are becoming the version of you whose frequency makes those realities inevitable. Reality doesn't give you what you want, it tunes itself to who you are. That is the distinction most people miss. They strain, hoping to attract from the outside, when the actual work is to stabilize on the inside. Notice also how entrainment works socially. Walk into a room anxious and the tension spreads. Walk into a room grounded and calm, and others unconsciously adjust to your rhythm. In the same way, your field is constantly teaching the quantum environment what rhythm to follow. The key is to become deliberate. Choose coherence over chaos, consistency over scattered bursts. Each deliberate choice compounds into a dominant frequency. Here is a useful metaphor. Think of an orchestra warming up. At first, every instrument plays random notes, clashing with one another. Then the conductor raises the baton and they lock into one key. The cacophony becomes symphony. You are both the instrument and the conductor. When you decide to hold the note of peace, joy, or trust, you raise the baton. The universe listens. So the practice is deceptively simple. Breathe, recall, sustain, repeat. Let your nervous system remember what coherence feels like. The results will not always appear instantly, but they will accumulate relentlessly. Each echo, each synchronicity, each coincidence that finds you is proof that entrainment is occurring. The note you've been holding is echoing back as material evidence. You do not need to master the science to prove this works. Your body is the evidence. Feel now the subtle calm spreading through you as you read. That calm is not trivial. It is the beginning of entrainment. It is the quantum field adjusting its rhythm to match yours. Hold the note. Reality is already listening. Picture yourself standing on a vast plain, wind brushing past your face. You can't see the destination, but you feel a tension, an invisible line pulling you forward. This is the tow rope. It is not fantasy. It is the felt connection to the future version of you that has already arrived, already secured the reality you've been moving toward. That version is not waiting idly at some distant endpoint. It is active, alive, sending you signals through the field. Every synchronicity you encounter, every repetition of numbers, every uncanny moment of déjà vu is the vibration of that rope tugging. Most people ignore these pulls. They brush them off as coincidence, file them under random chance, or dismiss them as imagination. But the one who awakens realizes that guidance rarely screams. It whispers, it nudges. The rope does not yank violently. It pulses gently, reminding you of direction. And the signs this message included are not interruptions. They are confirmations. They are course corrections, ensuring you remain aligned with the trajectory your future self is already anchoring. Think of an aircraft flying across the ocean. Even with the best navigation, it drifts slightly off path again and again. But constant micro-adjustments ensure it still lands at the destination. Your journey is similar. Every signal, the friend who speaks a phrase that echoes your private thought, the sudden opportunity that seems out of nowhere, the dream that lingers all day, is a micro-adjustment from your future self. They are designed not to startle you, but to steady you, to ensure the course holds. Now, pause and recall your past week. What moments made you stop, even briefly? A lyric on the radio that spoke directly to your question, a number repeating until it was impossible to ignore, a stranger's words that felt like they were meant only for you. Instead of discarding them, consider, what if those were the rope vibrating in your hands? What if those jolts were deliberate, meant to awaken your attention and remind you that you are being pulled, not left adrift? This shift in perception changes everything. When you interpret signs as guidance instead of random noise, you move from chaos into choreography. Suddenly, the ordinary feels laced with meaning. The tug you feel is not psychological restlessness, but gravitational resonance. Your future self is literally pulling you across time. That restlessness you label impatience is actually momentum. You are not static. You are already in accelerated motion. But here lies a responsibility. The rope is not meant to replace your steps. It does not drag you passively. It empowers your participation. The signals invite you to walk with trust, to keep your inner state coherent, to respond with calm awareness rather than frantic grasping. Ignoring the rope weakens your awareness of it. Honoring it strengthens the pull. Attention is the fuel. Where you place it determines how clearly you feel the guidance. Consider another metaphor: sailing a boat. The wind is invisible, but the sail catches it. The tow rope is like that wind. If you ignore it, you drift. If you tense against it, you create drag. But if you align your sail, your inner posture, the rope pulls effortlessly, carrying you farther than effort alone could achieve. Your task is not to force the rope, but to cooperate with its pull. So how do you cooperate? First, by cultivating sensitivity. Slow down enough to notice the subtleties. The rope vibrates through body sensations, goosebumps, warmth in the chest, sudden peace in the gut. Pay attention to those markers. They are the language of resonance. Second, by practicing acknowledgement, when you notice a sign, whisper inwardly, "I recognize this." That acknowledgement is like tightening your grip on the rope, affirming your readiness to be guided. Third, by releasing the urge to demand clarity. The rope rarely tells you the full map. It tells you the next step. Trusting that is the art. Every step you take with awareness strengthens the alignment. Every time you honor the nudge, the rope grows more pronounced. And soon, the feeling of being lost is replaced by the confidence of being guided. This is how your future self collaborates with your present, not through grand revelations, but through steady pulls. The course corrections may feel small, but over distance, they change everything. So pause again, feel into your chest, sense the invisible line stretching forward, taut and steady. You are not wandering alone. You are tethered to your own fulfillment. The rope is not a metaphor only. It is the experiential bridge between timelines. And as long as you keep noticing, honoring, and walking, you cannot miss your destination. The future is already holding you. You've felt it before. That sudden jolt of excitement when something appears in your path and seems like a sign. Maybe it's the number 111 flashing on a clock, or a conversation that feels too precise to be random. For a moment, adrenaline floods your system. You think, finally, it's happening. But within hours, doubt creeps back in. Anxiety follows. You begin asking, how do I keep this going? What do I do next? That roller coaster of hope and fear is the trap. The field doesn't play in highs and lows. It moves through resonance, and resonance feels nothing like a sugar rush. It feels like peace, calm recognition, a quiet, of course. That is how you know the difference between a genuine echo of your future reality and a counterfeit signal manufactured by your anxious mind. Let's draw the contrast clearly. False signals create dependency. They scream for attention, stir the nervous system, spike adrenaline. They leave you hungry for another fix. A genuine signal whispers, it doesn't need fireworks. It lands in your body as familiarity, like a puzzle piece clicking into place. Instead of excitement, you feel relief. Instead of chasing more proof, you feel enough. Your body is the perfect lie detector here. Excitement rushes through the mind, a racing heart, jittery thoughts, the urge to act quickly. Recognition lives in the body, warm chest, loosened breath, softened jaw. One agitates, the other settles. If you practice listening, you will always know which voice is speaking. This distinction matters because many derail their leap right here. They mistake the trap for truth. They grasp at every flashy coincidence, inflating it with desperate meaning. Then, when the euphoria collapses, they sink deeper into doubt. The cycle repeats, creating spiritual exhaustion. But once you discern the real from the false, you exit the loop. You step into sovereignty. Think of the rope we spoke of earlier. Real signals are steady tugs, consistent and trustworthy. False signals are like sudden jerks caused by your own nervous grip. One keeps you aligned, the other spins you in circles. Your task is not to chase every twitch, but to learn the texture of authentic pull. Here's a simple practice. The next time you think you've received a sign, pause. Don't run to analyze. Don't post about it or announce it out loud. Instead, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and ask, do I feel settled or stirred? If your body exhales, if you sense calm inevitability, it's genuine. If your body tenses, if your mind races, it's likely the trap. That question alone can save you months of detours. Now, let's be clear. False signals aren't punishments, they're feedback. They reveal where the ego still tries to manufacture proof, where doubt still lingers. Even missteps are part of calibration. But you do not have to live bound to that cycle. By shifting focus from excitement to peace, you start training your system to expect serenity as evidence. The field responds to that expectation with more coherence, more clarity. Imagine yourself in a forest at night. Fireflies blink all around you. Some flashes are random, momentary distractions. Others pulse in sync, forming a steady rhythm that guides you toward the clearing. If you chase every flicker, you get lost in circles. If you follow the pattern, you move forward. Your discernment is what turns chaos into choreography. The truth is simple. Genuine echoes don't need you to react. They need you to receive. They don't need you to prove you noticed. They need you to embody the calm recognition that proves you already belong. This is why stillness is not passive. It is power. Stillness is the language the quantum field understands best. So the next time a sign crosses your path, resist the urge to grab it. Instead, nod inwardly, whisper, "Thank you," and keep walking. That posture tells the field, "I already know. I am not waiting for proof. I am proof." This subtle shift ends the exhausting cycle of chasing and anchors you in the flow of becoming. Take another breath. Feel your body soften. Recognition is not a lightning strike, it is a sunrise. Quiet, steady, inevitable. That's how you know it's real. You've been conditioned to react, to grasp, to clutch at anything that looks like progress, terrified it might slip away. It is not your fault. Your nervous system was trained in scarcity. When something finally arrives that resembles the life you've been reaching for, the instinct is to grab it, analyze it, talk about it, plan around it. But here's the paradox. The very act of grasping disturbs the frequency that allowed the sign to appear in the first place. Think of a lake on a still morning. The water holds the perfect reflection of the sky. One pebble thrown in, even out of excitement, shatters the image into ripples. The reflection is still there, but it becomes impossible to see clearly. In the same way, your reaction to a genuine echo can distort the calm coherence that birthed it. This is why sovereign reception is a higher art than manifestation techniques. It is the ability to allow without interference. Sovereign reception is not passivity, it is authority. It is the quiet confidence of someone who knows that what is theirs cannot be lost. Imagine a monarch receiving an offering. They do not jump up in surprise or plead for more. They extend an open hand, nod in acknowledgement, and let it be placed. Their dignity confirms their status. In the same way, when an echo appears in your life, you are invited to receive it as confirmation, not a crumb to be clutched. Practice this posture now. Breathe deeply. Place your palms open on your lap. Imagine a sign, a repeating number, a perfectly timed conversation, the sudden arrival of an opportunity. Instead of rushing to analyze or share it, simply let it rest in your hand like water in a cup. Feel the calm of not needing to do anything. That calm is magnetic. It tells the field, this is normal, this is natural, this is who I am. The challenge is that the old programming will protest. Your mind will scream, if you don't act now, you'll miss it. If you don't hold on tightly, it will vanish. But ask yourself, has grasping ever created lasting peace? Or has it always thrown you back into cycles of anxiety and effort? Sovereign reception is the antidote. It dissolves the grasping reflex and replaces it with steady magnetism. Here's another metaphor, catching rain. With a closed fist, you end up wet but empty. With an open palm, the water gathers effortlessly. The field works the same way. It flows toward openness, not tension. Your openness is not laziness. It is signal clarity. It broadcasts that you trust the process enough to remain still. That is when the rope pulls strongest. So how do you train this? First, by noticing the impulse to react. When the urge rises to announce, to overanalyze, to cling, pause, name it silently. This is grasping, then breathe. By naming it, you disarm it. Second, by cultivating gratitude without demand. Whisper, thank you inwardly, not as a plea for more, but as recognition of what already island. Gratitude seals coherence without agitation. Third, by practicing micro-surrenders throughout your day. Each time you release control, whether over traffic, timing, or someone else's opinion, You strengthen the muscle of sovereign reception. Over time, this posture becomes your default. Signs still arrive, but your response shifts from adrenaline to calm acknowledgement. This steadiness tells the field you are no longer oscillating between lack and abundance. You are stable, and stability is what makes realities lock into place. Remember this: reacting is a sign of disbelief. If you believed the harvest was inevitable, you wouldn't dig up the seed every morning to check if it sprouted. You would water, trust, and wait. Sovereign reception is the gardener's smile at the first sprout. Not surprise, not desperation, just knowing. Take one last breath here. Inhale, hold, exhale. Let the truth settle. You do not need to chase, cling, or control. Your power lies in reception, calm, open, dignified. When you master this art, the field has no choice but to keep delivering. Picture yourself in a garden at dawn. The soil is dark, rich, and freshly turned. You kneel, press a seed beneath the surface, and cover it gently with earth. What happens next? Do you dig it up every hour to check if it's growing? Of course not. You water, you wait, you trust. You know the laws of nature are at work, even when your eyes can't see beneath the surface. This is the essence of being a quantum gardener, someone who cultivates inner coherence with the same patience and faith as tending a living seed. Your frequency is the soil. Your habits of thought are the weather. Your nervous system is the root system that must stay balanced to sustain growth. Every practice of coherence is a drop of water. Every act of trust is sunlight breaking through. This isn't about frantic effort. It's about consistent tending. The seed already knows what to do. Your role is to create the right conditions for it to flourish. But here's the challenge: impatience. The old programming whispers, "Nothing is happening. You're wasting time. You should be doing more." That impatience is like overwatering, flooding the soil with doubt until the seed drowns, or like pulling at the sprout to force it taller, only to break it. Your job is not to accelerate nature, but to align with it. Reality unfolds at the speed of resonance, not the speed of anxiety. So what does tending look like in practice? Begin with daily rituals that stabilize your nervous system. Breathwork, meditation, mindful walking. These are the watering cans. They replenish your field. Next, curate your mental climate. Protect the seed from storms of negativity by limiting the voices and inputs that plant weeds of doubt. Boundaries are not selfish. They are fences around your garden. Without them, weeds multiply faster than flowers. Attention is also a form of fertilizer. Where you focus, energy grows. If you constantly scan for lack, you feed scarcity. If you gently return your gaze to gratitude, you enrich the soil of abundance. This doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means choosing which parts of reality to water with your focus. A gardener doesn't deny weeds exist. They simply refuse to nourish them. Consider another metaphor: compost. Even the painful parts of your life, the disappointments and setbacks, can be turned into nourishment if processed correctly. Instead of resenting them, ask, what did this teach me? How did it strengthen my roots? Composting your struggles transforms them into resilience, making the soil richer for the next cycle of growth. Patience is the gardener's crown jewel. Seeds sprout in their season, not on demand. Your quantum field is no different. It requires steady care, not frantic proof-seeking. Trust that the rhythms you can't see are still at work. The sprout will break through when it's time, not a day sooner, not a day later. Your calm expectancy is what ensures the harvest arrives. And when the first sprout does appear, when the first echo of future reality breaks the surface, your task is simple. Recognition, not interference. Smile, nod, whisper, thank you. Keep tending the soil. Do not rush to harvest too soon. A premature pluck ruins the fruit. Sovereign gardeners know that growth is exponential. What begins small multiplies rapidly if allowed to mature. This is where many sabotage themselves. They treat one sprout as the final prize, clutching at it, analyzing it, fearing it will vanish. But the gardener knows, one sprout is never the end. It is evidence of the law at work. It is confirmation that the entire garden is alive. The wise response is to keep tending, keep watering, keep trusting. So breathe now and imagine your inner field. See the seeds you've planted with every intention, every act of trust, every moment of coherence. Feel the soil rich with unseen activity. Honor the waiting as much as the arrival. This is not wasted time. This is growth beneath the surface. You are the quantum gardener. Your job is not to force, but to create conditions. Your job is not to grasp, but to nurture. And in doing so, you align with the deepest law of the field. What is planted in coherence must bear fruit. The harvest is not a matter of if, but when. You've already felt the pull. You've already begun tuning your field like a cosmic instrument. But here's the hidden piece most people overlook. Your body must be able to handle the voltage of the new frequency. Think of it like electrical wiring. If the current surges beyond what the wiring can handle, the system shorts. In the same way, if your nervous system isn't prepared to sustain higher coherence, you'll experience burnout, emotional swings, or sudden collapses in faith. This is not failure. It is simply a sign that your system needs calibration. Calibration is the art of upgrading your body to house the new frequency. Without it, the field may send echoes and confirmations, but you'll struggle to hold them long enough for reality to solidify. With calibration, the nervous system becomes the sturdy circuitry through which your new timeline anchors. It stops being fragile wiring and becomes a power grid. So what does this look like in practice? Start with breath, the most immediate dial for your state. Shallow, rapid breaths keep you tethered to survival frequencies. Fight, flight, freeze. Deep, rhythmic breathing signals safety, opening the system to receive. Try this. Inhale through the nose for 5 counts, hold for 2, exhale through the mouth for 7. Repeat for a few minutes. Notice how your chest softens, your shoulders drop. That shift is your nervous system saying, I am ready to sustain coherence. Movement is another calibrator. Trauma and tension store themselves in the body like static charges. Gentle shaking, stretching, or walking discharges the old energy, clearing space for the new. Think of a tuning fork being struck. If it's clogged with dust, the sound is muffled. Your body works the same way. Regular movement shakes loose the static, allowing resonance to flow cleanly. Then there is posture. The way you carry yourself tells the field what station you're tuned to. Collapsed shoulders signal defeat, broadcasting static. An open chest, lifted spine, and relaxed jaw broadcast trust. Posture is not cosmetic, it is an energetic amplifier. Practice standing as though you've already arrived, not stiff with performance but relaxed with certainty. This alone recalibrates the signals your field emits. Nutrition and rest also matter. Food is not only fuel, it carries frequency. Heavy, processed foods dull your system, making it harder to sustain high coherence. Whole, living foods act like conductive material, sharpening the signal. Sleep is integration time. Dreams are often feedback loops where the subconscious aligns with the new programming. Skimp on rest, and you weaken the calibration. Perhaps the most overlooked calibrator is stillness. In silence, the nervous system resets. The field whispers its clearest signals when your mind is not scrambling for input. Set aside even 5 minutes a day for absolute stillness. No screens, no music, no distraction, just breath, presence, and listening. This is where the body learns to rest in the frequency instead of chasing it. You may already be noticing resistance. The thought that this seems too simple, the itch to skip steps and jump to outcomes. Recognize that as the old system trying to hold on. Calibration is rarely dramatic. It is subtle, cumulative, like tuning an instrument string by string. One day, you realize the whole orchestra is in harmony, and the sound is undeniable. The beauty of calibration is that it turns temporary states into stable traits. Instead of touching peace in fleeting moments, you embody it consistently. Instead of glimpsing signs occasionally, you live in a field where synchronicity becomes normal. That's the point, not to chase high-frequency experiences, but to make them sustainable. So feel into your body now. Notice the areas of tension, the places where energy pools and resists. Imagine breathing light into those spaces, loosening the knots. Picture your nervous system like a vast network of glowing wires, expanding their capacity to carry more current. This is not fantasy. It is preparation. The future self pulling you forward needs a vessel strong enough to receive it. Calibration builds that vessel. You are not just leaping in consciousness, you are rewiring your biology to hold the leap. Breath by breath, posture by posture, practice by practice, you are turning yourself into a living portal, a grounded station for a frequency that once felt unreachable. And this is only the preview. Soon, you'll learn precise techniques to fully integrate these calibrations. For now, know this. Your nervous system is not a limitation but a partner. Treat it as the sacred circuitry it is, and it will carry you through the quantum leap with strength, stability, and grace. What you've been experiencing is not only personal. Every time you stabilize your frequency, every time you choose peace over panic or coherence over chaos, the field shifts around you. Like a pebble dropped into still water, your vibration sends ripples outward. These ripples don't stop at the edge of your life, they move into the collective, shaping the atmosphere others breathe in without even realizing. Think about the people closest to you. Have you noticed how your calm steadies them? How your presence in a room changes the tone, even if you don't say a word? That's no accident. Your nervous system is a tuning fork, and human beings unconsciously sync with each other's rhythms. When you regulate, you make regulation possible for others. When you hold resonance, you invite others into resonance. You become a lighthouse not by performance, not by preaching, but by the simple gravity of your state. This ripple effect is ethical because the moment you realize your frequency influences others, responsibility awakens. Not the heavy burden of perfection, but the sober knowing that your choices matter beyond you. Anger, fear, doubt, they echo, but so do gratitude, patience, trust. The more often you choose coherence, the more you stabilize the wider field. You are not only walking your own leap, you are smoothing the path for others. And this is where the collective shift begins. Millions of individuals, each calibrating their nervous systems, each choosing open-handed reception over desperate grasping together, they form a field too strong to ignore. Society changes not only through policies or systems, but through waves of coherence rising within the people themselves. Your leap is a contribution. It is activism at the level of energy. But there is another layer here: integrity. The temptation will arise to use these truths as tools for control, seeking to manifest advantage at the expense of others, trying to bend the field through manipulation. But manipulation is static. It may yield short bursts of outcome, but it collapses under its own distortion. Coherence thrives only in honesty, gratitude, and alignment with love. The ethical gardener plants not only for personal harvest, but for the health of the entire ecosystem. So ask yourself, how do you want your ripples to feel? Do you want others to leave your presence drained or nourished, confused or steadied, afraid or comforted? Your answer is not abstract. It becomes the practice of your daily state. Each choice to anchor peace is a gift you give to every life you touch. Each choice to honor boundaries is an example others silently learn from. This is not pressure. It is opportunity. You are being entrusted with influence because you have proven willing to refine yourself. You are not asked to be flawless. You are asked to be authentic. Authenticity radiates coherence more powerfully than perfection ever could. When you admit your struggles but still return to trust, others feel permission to do the same. That honesty builds a field of resilience. There is also collective reciprocity. Just as your resonance steadies others, theirs steadies you. You are not alone on this path. Across the planet, countless souls are tuning their inner instruments, some consciously, some unconsciously. Together you form a choir, weaving harmonics that no single voice could sustain. Each echo you receive is not just your future self, but also the chorus of humanity remembering itself. And here lies the invitation. Carry your leap with humility and courage. Recognize that your frequency is medicine in a world starved for coherence. Live in a way that multiplies peace rather than scarcity. Let your reception of the quantum field not be hoarded as personal proof, but shared silently through the way you walk, breathe, listen, and love. You are part of something far larger than yourself. Every small act of calibration contributes to a tipping point. Every ripple joins others until the waters of collective consciousness overflow into new possibilities. By embodying your sovereignty, you become a bridge not only for your own future, but for futures shared. So breathe deeply now. Imagine your calm radiating outward, touching your home, your neighborhood, your city, your world. See the ripples spreading farther than you can track. Feel the weight and the wonder of it. This is the power you hold, not as a separate individual fighting for survival, but as a sovereign frequency shaping the collective sea.